Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Rammus game, and this one is quite the doozy. Which one? Look at the enemy team composition when it pops up, and look at mine. See the problem? So their composition is really poorly made against mine. They kind of waltz into this, though I waltz into here in my own death. I just kind of face check a bush, and I could have probably survived if they used a flash or if I had my teammates around, but whatever. Also, forewarning, there's going to be a lot of noise in the background, and if you can hear it, ignore it. At this point, I'm really tired of not voicing videos because my neighbors are really loud and inconsiderate. So, fans will deal with it. I just kind of want to have my videos out there rather than, be delayed by all the noise they make. In the summer, I mean, at least. Anyhow, thankfully, my teammates to get at least a double kill down bottom after getting killed, so sort of stabilizes the game. My composition is designed to crush theirs. I was last picked Rammus. Their composition will get destroyed by him. They have like this weird bottom kill lane thing going. I thought it was going to be like support Pantheon with Corki, but it turns out it's Corki mid. So, yeah, Rammus is going to counter them, but we got to make sure not to lose the early game. Or to do things like here, where I thought maybe I could kill Corki quick enough in between all those minions. Thankfully, I didn't die, because else that would have been really stupid. Anyhow, the rest of my team also counters them. Trundle can smash Jax, and probably Pantheon too, and then just sort of deal with the rest of them. Cassiopeia is going to ground the shit out of them, and they have like that one-time mobility thing they got to do, and they won't be able to do it with Cassiopeia around. Plus, she just kind of destroys melee. And then Xayah will avoid a lot of their initiation, which she times her ultimate properly, and Rakan is going to be absolutely decimate their melee. So, my composition is really good against theirs, and they sort of just waltzed into it. So, whatever the case, we still got to make it to mid-game, because even if the composition sucks, they can get really farmed or fed or something and beat the shit out of us. Thankfully, you can see the early game is rather stable, which it works in our favor, because come late game, if we're all stable, the champion choices are gonna escalate like crazy. You'll see this. It's like a foreshadow. I mean, you don't even need to be told that, it's gonna happen. If you're experienced with the game, you know that sometimes champion choice really does matter, and the enemy team kind of fucked themselves in this one. Rammus alone is just gonna cause them so many problems. Sorry, learning my words there. But right now, I just gotta get big, try to get farmed, or at least, something, because ganks are not really presenting themselves. Except top lane, bottom lane is either getting really hurt, so I can't really do anything about that, or, dead. Right now, the Urgot is a huge pain against the Trundle, mostly because the little quasi-range thing is going, and he's a really fat champion, although I don't really think he's all that good right now. I go on him, and he does a lot more damage than I thought he would be doing. Mostly, thankfully, because he's got some actual items. And thankfully, the Trundle has teleport and it arrives just in time for it to be able to kill him. I flash, I do mess it up, but I get my taunt off him and keep him grounded enough for Trundle to beat his ass to death. So, hooray, at least, I don't get killed there. I don't leave empty-handed. And for whatever reason, the enemy Gragas got super greedy and got killed, which is really bad because now it gives Xayah a sort of return. She was having a lot of issues in bottom lane. Yeah, she was getting, a couple kills, but the enemy bottom lane is getting a chance to farm up way more than she has. So, it doesn't end up mattering because my bottom laner dies and the enemy bottom lane gets to scamper off. Although they do burn all their stuff, so I guess silver linings. It still doesn't matter. I gotta really reset bottom lane. Because if Pantheon and Jax become big because they fed off somebody else, they could possibly kill Cassiopeia, and then Xayah still wouldn't really matter all that much, and with that we could lose, because honestly, I don't really have that much kill potential, I have annoyance potential, and I really rely on Cassiopeia. Thankfully, I don't know what the fuck Corki thought he was doing, he tried flanking and kind of just died. So that helps me a lot, and it helps bottom too, because it sort of gets a little reset, and Cassiopeia gets to free farm for a little while. I stick around with the Xayah, just to act as an ad hoc support, because leaving her to herself is gonna, let her die. And then Pantheon gets a little too cocky. He gets too close, just sort of taunt them. In comes Rakan, knock him up, and he gets CC'd down to hell. And thankfully the blue buff goes back onto Xayah, so she gets to harass and poke away at the remaining Jax. So that's actually a huge one for my bottom laner, since right now Pantheon has burned his ultimate to try to get in there and has no way of getting there quickly. They got to free farm and just be a huge nuisance. So now that bottom lane tower is taken, they get to roam around and be free from that kill lane. It's a big one right there. Me, I'm just kind of trying to kill more of the Urgot. I got to try to free my team, try to get us to the mid game, no, free farming, whatever. Sadly, the Trundle wasn't really paying my attention to the map, so I ended up going in there, and he wouldn't turret dive either, even though he had his ultimate, which is like Trundle special right there. I roam around mid lane. You get the chickens because the Gragas is dead, ward up and whatever, and then I just flank the Urgot. Thankfully, this time we are easily able to take him down. What is he going to do? Also, fun fact. I don't know, I haven't actually tried it too much, but I kind of tried it in this game. Apparently, Urgot's W against a Thornmail and a Rammus W is just like insta-suicide. Because I think every W triggers an on-hit thing. I believe I was told that. So it's like doing a lot of damage to himself. It's kind of funny. Anyways, the team fighting engages. I go in there. Urgot ends up killing the Rakan, although we kill the Urgot as well. And this is sort of showcasing at least what can go wrong with my team composition. If we don't initiate this properly, the MVPs or somebody important, well, the MVPs get killed and we get scattered and we can't really do very much. But if we initiate properly and grab someone important, Urgot really wasn't the important one, but he was kind of the only one we could get, we can easily just kind of decimate them. So right now, a bad situation for us. As the mid game has started and we kind of fucked it up, and we lost a couple towers over that, so it's no bueno. Thankfully, the enemy team is not going to do very much with whatever advantage they have. I'm building myself, I got a Bramble Vest, and I'm going to be building myself with Righteous Glory and Randuin's Omen. Just try to stop, keep them in place, initiate properly, get who I need to be, where I need to be as quickly as possible, and just grab the person that needs to die. And that's going to be all good. Cassiopeia will follow it up with whatever she needs to. And hopefully Cassiopeia, well, this is what I was thinking in the game, hopefully Cassiopeia will act as that, that wall with her ultimate. I was hoping she won't be using her ultimate, offensively all that much. She'd use it like right there, defensively, create some space, allow me to get in on the target I need to, allow themselves to retreat. Because if I go in there and I get the right person, my team will just barrage them with damage, and then, we should just win off that. It kind of worked out that way, in this little situation. They were able to sort of retreat, and I go in there, get the Corki, and the rest of our teammates catch up. But it's still a pretty ugly fight. We do trade Cassiopeia and Rakan for 2 of theirs, but it could have been a lot cleaner. So right now, again, this is this is flex queue, but this is still more randoms, right? We're trying to get a feel for the team. Again, my composition is ridiculously good. Their composition is poor. We should absolutely destroy them. But it only really matters if we each individually play our parts properly, or our roles in this. Again, I have to grab somebody, I have to take the aggro. Most of the enemy team can't deal with me, especially once I get itemized. Cassiopeia is supposed to absolutely decimate them and just Zaya melt them. Trundle beat the shit out of whoever's tanky, kind of. And Rakan does support stuff, Anyways, Gragas gets easily caught and absolutely murdered, although he takes out a bunch of our summoner spells, or my summoner spells and my ultimate. Corki comes in and starts barraging and everything. And we actually managed to survive this. Just kind of a shitload of CC and summoner spells being burned and whatever. It's surprising. And it's not really worth it because the only one we got was Gragas. Although we didn't expect their ridiculous counter engage. Pantheon kind of suicided by going in with his ultimate. And in comes Cassiopeia absolutely destroying Jax. And this is what I sort of mean. When the team fight, team fight is fought in our favor, the amount of crowd control and space control, remember that's important and something that a lot of people talk about, is immense. The enemy team has to burn so much just to even try to get close to my teammates that they really can't follow it up with absolutely anything. And my team has a lot of ways of increasing that space, or at least forcing them, away from that. A long time ago, I made a video about one of the most powerful compositions in the old seasons. I think it was Season 0, Season 1, which was Cassiopeia, Trundle, and Singed. It was really powerful because you created such a dangerous space in between your team that most champions couldn't traverse that without getting seriously fucked up, or just straight out dying. And this is what's sort of going on in this game right now. Basically, the enemy team is spending so much effort to try to get through me. Then there's Cassiopeia, who just kind of either keeps them at bay or puts them in place and kills them. Then the rest of my team is either Trundle, who's just kind of hard to kill and is using his wall to do similar things as Cassiopeia, Zaya, who's just going to disengage with her ultimate, And then Rakan, who does Rakan things and runs around like a jackass. Even here, when they quote-unquote surprise my team, they get completely fucked up. They get bounced around, and then they focus the wrong target, and it's like Rakan and Trundle just keep them in place for low health Cassiopeia to just sort of burn them down. Remember, my team got quote-unquote ambushed there. It's such a deadly composition, though at the same time it's just a really, really fair composition by them. And now that it's come mid-game, you just see that like it mattered. Like they had kills, they had, you know, good proper farm in the early game. But mid-game cometh, my team is just by pure champion choice, miles and miles ahead of them. Sure, you know, we can do some dumb things. Like Cassiopeia kind of gets caught and destroyed, but, you know, whatever. We're going to push down mid, and the enemy team can't really do very much about this. We sacrifice Cass and Trundle to take down mid turret and almost take out an inhibitor turret. We sort of back off and just poke at them, but Corki shows up, and we're mostly kind of scared of his damage, especially since we don't have the control of Trundle and Cass, so we back off. But yeah, you can see my build is sort of completing itself right now. Team fight sort of kind of occurs. We don't really get very much mileage out of this. The teleport does come in, and I do kill the Pantheon, but we end up burning so much for kind of so little. Trundle is going to try very, very, very hard to kill the Corki, but he's going to get burned down before then. We get a kill on the Urgot. I'm sticking onto the Jax. Like, he can't shake me up at this point. Between my red buff, my slow, and my taunt, he's just a goner. So, we did get 3 kills there for Trundle. It was a very messy fight. Technically, we came out ahead, but I feel we could have still fought that better. Or sort of, you know, just back up. Trundle shouldn't have chased as hard as he kind of did. Either way, though, we get a lot out of it. We get a mid-turret. I believe Corki is going to end up getting caught by me here on the side, easily slam-bamming him. Though, at the end, it kind of ends up having to sacrifice myself because, you know, Zaya is just super low. She ends up getting killed anyways. So my sacrifice is totally in vain. Although it's hilarious to see how much effort it takes them just to knock my ass out. Again, Righteous Glory's build, Brambleveld is going to become a Thornmail. I'm getting to the point where just focusing me is the only thing they can do, but focusing me is going to get them absolutely killed. Jax at this point, he can't fight me, which is ridiculous for a Jax, right? He can't 1v1. Well, most champions shouldn't really be trying to. Most physical champions shouldn't be trying to 1v1 a late game Rammus who's kind of very fed. Here, look, I'll go in, grab the Jax, and he can't really do anything, so he just kind of tries hopelessly to, you know, hit me. Gragas comes in, headbutts me, and realizes that's a terrible idea. I get blasted by Corki and everything. It's like, I'm basically getting tickled at this point. Though Rakan kind of just jumps in there and gets killed for no reason, so we kind of have to back off. Look, it's just kind of beautiful at this point. They can't touch me. W max rank at this point is like, I'm super, super safe. And I don't know, it's kind of one of my favorite things in most video games, and like especially League of Legends, when like just smart choices or bad choices become into full effect. This composition, or at least my champion choice, is now like the kind of highlight of this. And also Cassiopeia. It's like they cannot do anything about this. And unless they pull a miracle out of their ass, they're just gonna lose glorious, or ungloriously, I mean. It's like a slow defeat, and it's like something more experienced players could see coming in Champion Select, although to be fair, you know, in ranked and stuff, some of that shit doesn't really apply. Either way, Urgot's easily captured here, and me and Trundle beat his ass slowly. The enemy team catches my Rakan, kills him, although Jax ends up getting killed. But here's what I mean. They cannot use their abilities properly against my team because of Cassiopeia. She keeps them at bay, forces them to jump at inopportune times, just to jump, period. And gets them, you know, they melt as they try to get to her. I love those types of champions, those ones that control space and make it such a pain to even try to get to them. Because when you combine certain other champions with them, you get to play like this kind of, this zone control game. It's like, do you want to fight? If you don't fight, well, you just kind of, we're going to crawl to you and slowly bring the poison to you or whatever. And in this case, the enemy team is just not built to deal with that. Again, I believe it was a very old Trundle game where I had a cast teammate and a cinch teammate, and it was one of the most absolute brutal team fights or team games I've ever uploaded, where the enemy couldn't do anything mid-game. No matter, it was a very even game, but once that happened, you just saw the enemy team sort of get demoralized and lose. Like here, We grab. So this is like the end game one. We grab the Jax. He gets easily killed. They kill Urziah, but it cost them so much resources, and it brought him into a really bad position where Cassiopeia was able to melt them, and then Trundle just beat them slowly to death. Yeah, they couldn't do jack shit. And my team, aside from the Xayah dying, is pretty much nearly unscathed. So their composition lost them the game. My composition absolutely demolished them. And you can't really say it was a stomp because once in the early game it was kind of rough on us, but once mid game came in, pure artwork. So hooray for team composition. This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't yet.